Yes. Yes. Yes.
Now what if we did that to you guys? Come on. Trump's the president. And he beat all of you. You can do nothing about it. Stand in all sorts of chains and links all you want.
You guys are a bunch of losers. You're a fucking punk. You know that?
And you lost the election. So how does that make you feel? Yeah, he did. Trump won.
You don't got his face covered. I didn't vote for him.
I think they just made him
Trump
president.
won.
So?
And you lost.
No, I didn't.
And all of you lost.
No, I didn't.
So how does that feel?
I feel great.
Yeah.
I feel good about it.
So do I. I feel good about Trump. It's an unverified.
Wait, no, I just want to say one thing.
Comment ping pong is an unverified accusation of running a child sex slavery ring. No, that's a fake story. There's no evidence that means fake. So no evidence that Trump did that. That's fake. Well, no, because that 35-page document had like verified falsehoods in it. Like it said, Michael Cohen met with Russian officials in Prague. It's been proven that he didn't do that.
So that makes everything fake?
That calls into question everything else in that document.
I just want to mention one thing. For me, it's about like the subtleties. Like, see this quote from the inauguration speech. From this day forward, it's only going to be America first. America first.
Obama said cliches and stuff like that too.
Let me see what I was actually going to say. America first is a phrase that was used. Pay attention for a second. It's a phrase that was used like during the rise of Hitler in America for like people who are sympathizing with the Nazis. And people have said that to Trump, like, hey, you might want to drop that phrase because it's
why does everything have to go back to Nazis? That's a long time ago. That's over.
It wasn't that long ago. It wasn't.
It wasn't that long ago.
Jewish.
That was last century. Come on, get over it.
Get over. You're telling.
Let me wipe out half of your family and then tell you to get over it. Go fuck yourself if you're telling me to get over it.
Actually, I want to go back to ancient Mesopotamia. Half my family got wiped out.
No!
And I want to still bring that up.
This is grandparents versus ancestors. This is a very big difference.
So, okay, what I'm saying is, why are you taking that and saying that matters to the presidential election today?
Because there's a lot of parallel to what he was saying about banning Muslims is very similar to like.
So, what do you think about the NASA, the rocket program, Wernher von Braun? Oh no, Hitler used that guy to make rockets, and then we took them and had them make rockets. Making rockets is bad. No, America first is not bad.
The phrase "America first"
it means take care of your own shit before you worry about other people's problems.
It's very loaded. It's very loaded. And what I'm saying is there's a lot of subtleties like that. That like he doesn't. You can bring it to his attention, and he doesn't care. And I think that insensitivity to me is.
If you think that helps you win elections, by all means, please blame everybody for all historical wrongs.
What I'm saying is that the Muslim
is what.
Brain are not connecting properly.
Isn't that what Rosie O'Donnell said?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
His synapses aren't working right. Because I disagree.
I guess I'm just.
No, that's not actually what I mean.
It is. So you had a problem with America First because that's something that the America First committee that was pro-Germany prior to World War II said.
Right,
but what's inherently wrong?
It's
he's saying it's wrong because that group used that term. He's not saying the term is wrong. He said that group used it. That's what makes it wrong. Wernher von Braun worked for Hitler and developed rockets, and then we took them. So that should be wrong, shouldn't it?
What does this have to do with rockets? What are you talking about?
Guys, what I'm just saying is that that's one example of a lot of what I see as like really subtle passes that he gives to people who like want to think that it's okay for us to even have a debate about kicking Muslims out of this country or not letting Muslims into this country, which is just like, to me, the most un-American thing to say.
Okay, my impression on that is that he speaks in generalities, and that even when he said that, he didn't actually mean ban every single Muslim, whether they're American-born or not, from ever entering into the U.S.
If he's speaking in generality?
Because he said that in other ways too. He said that in less consequential things that didn't like offend, and then when he comes back and he like defines it more narrowly, you understand
never defined anything.
There's definitely a problem with Islam. There's radical elements that do believe in terrorism and things like that. You're an idiot if you deny that that's the case.
Well, there's 1.3 billion people, so it's like you can't just
No,
say you're gonna ban-
it's at a higher rate. If you look at the number of attacks in the U.S., Orlando, San Bernardino, Chattanooga, it's much higher. It's much higher than right-wing violence that they
I think
claim
that we're
happens.
better than that. What you're talking about is like shark attacks, you know? It's like shark
Okay, that's fine. I'm glad you admit that it exists because that's a lot of people have a problem with even saying that. But even tethering the two things together
are
at
really
all.
stupid. You're a smart person, I can tell. I mean, like,
Thank you.
no, it's true. So that's why I'm talking.
Okay. Good.
You know, like, let's all just try to remember what America is about. And it's not blocking people from coming.
Well, I mean, actually, throughout our history, we've done a lot of blocking people from coming.
But it wasn't right when we did it.
But why does a nation have an inherent?
Shouldn't we learn from?
But why does it?
mistakes?
Okay, what if? Imagine this. Imagine Russia was full of Klansmen. That genuine KKK Klansmen. Would we have an obligation to let them all in? I'm just messing with his photos.
I think that it's you can't generalize that all Muslim people are.
So can you generalize that all KKK people are bad?
Well, KKK, like the tenet of KKK. I mean, KKK is like about like white supremacy.
Right, now aren't there certain factions within Islam that have tenets that are awful?
Yeah, but that's not like the KKK is like foundationally about white supremacism, whereas like the Quran is like very much based in
We
the same
will
thing.
only
that
invite
Christianity
ISIS. That's not a conversation.
Yeah, the problem is, even within different branches, that like there's a good branch of Islam that even I have to tell conservative people, like, no, like Bashar al-Assad, that's a desirable branch of Islam that they have in Syria.
But we're off
And then
topic
that's the
talking
one that
about-
Obama is like trying to get
But
rid
you're
of.
off topic talking about like Islam. We're talking about the character of this man and like the questionable nature of the things that he says, the exclusionary nature of the things that he says.
Yeah,
things that you
he
don't
has a
want in
problem
your
saying
president.
things sometimes. Nothing bad is actually going to happen in that respect. And America First is
a
not
lot
going to
of
lead to any
separating the
bad things happening. It just means take care of your problems before you worry about your neighbor's problems. It's just another way of saying that.
Dude,
I think that like 80% that's true, but it's also it's marketing language to the people who also understand that previous reference that I think then gives permission to discrimination.
You're making too many ties. Like that's a term.
If
You
it
know
was
what?
just
That
then I
committee
would agree
used
with
that
you.
term, and that committee might have been for something that wasn't good. But that term in and of itself wasn't a bad term.
This is just
If they
consistent,
said,
though,
if they
with a
said,
lot of
what did
other
that, what did that
things.
community, that organization said, be a good neighbor. You know, would that be a bad thing to say? Be a good neighbor, love your neighbor like yourself. What did they use that term? What did they read various scripture quotes?
Well,
what
I think you'd have to think about it. You just would have to think about it. If that was
yeah,
the phrase
I would
you'd
think
have to
about it, and I would think about what exactly it is. So
You could take it back. you
America
could own it,
First
you
is
could
not a
change
bad
it.
thing.
But when he says that, and then at the same time says some of the other like discriminatory things that he said,
I, honestly,
can't help but draw.
he had a problem with speaking too much of a generality. I don't deny that, and
well, I just
that's
think
not
I think
actually
it's-
going to be the
I
policy
think
that
it's
gets
our-
implemented.
I hope not. I mean, I think it's our obligation to try to like.
But do you see how fast he came out to clarify? Oh no, I mean like greater scrutiny from countries that have problems with radical elements,
I was glad they did that.
and I
do
don't
you
think
feel like he did that on his own accord though, or that he was like?
no somebody
Of course.
told him that hey, this is getting interpreted as something bad. You need to come out and say something that sounds more reasonable, and he came out and said it. He's not actually gonna. No, he could really want to do it. Who
I just think
knows?
we need to be
but he's not
vigilant.
going to. Does that make sense?
We
Well, I
need
don't
to
know if we can
like
necessarily say that.
Oh.
But it's not going. We don't know.
Yeah.
I supported Obama, but when the surveillance, like with the NSA, was happening and being revealed, and there were things like, I think he surveilled too
Yeah.
much, right? Like I spoke out against it. I didn't think it was good. I signed petitions.
Yeah.
I talked. I think we just can't. We can't. It's not. You can't treat him like just an icon.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If it was your views coming out there and you were like the leaders of liberalism or left-wing activism, whatever you want to call it, it would be a lot more palatable than people screaming and saying KKK to people.
Sure, but that exists on both sides, right? There's just the louder you are, that's the conversation that's being had in our media. We're not having a civil discussion.
Well, I mean, but it really doesn't exist on both sides, because Obama's inauguration, there was no conservatives doing chain blocking people and chanting, saying that, you know, you're awful. There was like a couple guys.
Perhaps he was perceived as being less threatening.
Well, no, it's just that our side, when we lose, we feel humiliated and just sort of suck it up, wait a little bit, and then try to punch back hard later, you know? Whereas your side says, no, we can't accept the fact that we lost. We have to try to do something. I mean, I saw things that said that they were going to like shut down D.C. and that they were going to, I'm like, well, didn't do a really good job of that, did they? Everything happened. They're going to try to block the inauguration and stuff. I'm like, you're not blocking the inauguration. It's going to happen.
Sure, and as anybody, you have the right to protest in disagreement if that's your elected government by the people when you lost.
Yeah, but that wasn't the objective. So they both went in knowing it wasn't the popular movement.